Hello Vikings and welcome back. So today was supposed to be the T95, but my recording software fucked up again and just recorded that for most of the battles. Not this vehicle, literally just that view. So instead, I figured I would do the top 5 worst tanks in the game. This is just my opinion, but there are some truly terrible ones. At number 5, we actually have an American vehicle. Well, technically an American vehicle. It's not in the American tree, but it is still American. The M4A4 variant. Some of you might be surprised to see a Sherman on here, but it's a Sherman that has lost its roof 50 cal, which is a pretty major downside. And on top of that, it has slightly worse engine power and is slightly longer on the side profile. So the worst of the Shermans, and yeah, that's why it's on here at number 5. Number 4 is a Swedish tank, the STRV M42 and that probably stands for something, but it also perfectly describes what it feels like driving the tank. It's just I mean, the armor is okay-ish for 2.7. Gun isn't terrible, but it's not good either. It especially struggles in up-tiers. And the mobility isn't anything to write home about either. It's all just slightly below average in every aspect. And, well, the same thing goes for the IKV-72, I believe it is. The event version of this just had the machine gun and the hull moved to become infantry support. Anywho, on to number 3. And at number 3, we got technically 2 Japanese vehicles, the STA1 and the STA2. There is marginal difference on them. The 2 has a less pronounced engine deck, but loses the 50 cal on the roof. And speaking of said 50 cal, it does not really elevate. As it's mounted on a pintle there, so when you try to shoot stuff in the air, the entire thing lifts up and the pintle then turns, which makes it somewhat cumbersome. On top of that, this thing has the worst stock grind in the entire game. It is slow, it is sluggish, it has terrible armor. The shell isn't the worst, but 175 pen when you're fighting Tiger 2s and Panthers all the time isn't amazing. And yeah, sure, you do get a heat round in the end, but it's not a very good round against World War II tanks. Combining that with a fairly long reload and an extremely cramped interior, and even when fully spaded, the mobility is average. It's just not a good time. And the same thing goes for the STA2, just minus a 50 cal. At number 2, that's what we got to. We have the M42 Duster, arguably the worst AA in the game. Not because of the platform and the guns. I mean, yeah, it's not great that 4 out of your 6 crew is in a very open turret. Um, but the main issue is this. That's where the ammo is stored. Well, most of the ammo anyway. There's a bit there as well. But most of the ammo is stored right there. And 4mm structural steel is not enough to stop anything, really. Plane sneeze in your direction, you blow up. Tank sneeze in your direction, you most likely blow up. I mean, it's just not great with an AA that can take less hits from a plane than the plane can take from you. Nothing against the 40 mils, nothing against the platform, just that ammo, especially the fully exposed ammo as well. Makes it for a very unpleasant time driving this thing most of the battles you'll play. Anyway, on to number 1, which is Italian and BR10. And I'll just give it a moment to load in the camouflage I got. The M11/39. I honestly don't know what the Italians were thinking with this. You get a fairly terrible 37mm gun in the hull, and then you get 2 8mm machine guns in a turret. 3 crew, terrible armor, not very good mobility, and the gun itself is pretty crap as well, with only 1 shell, and that shell having terrible performance. And, well, you know, unlike pretty much every other medium tank, if you get immobilized and the enemy isn't dumb enough to drive in front of you, you can't do jack shit about it. And that's really why this is my number 1 worst tank. Saying that, though, I will do a video on it soon, because it is... while it is bad, it is also kind of funny to drive. So, yeah, there is that to it at least. My top 5 worst tank, but not my top 5 least favorite tank. Anyway, that will be it for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.